Alright, so I wanted to actually come in and do a video giving an update on my process for studying for my CCENT, which is the first part of my testing for my CCNA, my Cisco Certified Network Administrator certificate or certification. So first and foremost, what has happened up to this point? Um, this past week, I completed a 5-day kind of crash course for the CSET, so part one. Um, and it was a 9 to 5. We stopped for an hour break. Sometimes I was actually working through labs um, for an hour. But again, everything else hitting the content really hard. We have our books, online book. We also have our lab work that we can do online as well, like a virtual lab. I was taking notes nonstop. Overload as far as content, new information, kind of discouraging a little bit, but made it through. So through the process this week, my focus was to take a test to to see where my benchmark is, see where I am as far as my understanding of the content, and I just did that, just finished it. So I want to show you my details here. So as you can see, I scored a 34.55%. This is today. I got 19 questions out of 55, and it took me basically the whole time, an hour and 24 minutes to complete it. So out of 55 questions, I can see in detail which ones I got right, which ones I got wrong. That is a little bit frustrating to see a score so low after you've taken an official class for it. I mean, it was a week long. This is new content completely for me. But, I was expecting hopefully like a 50. Give me some points. But even still, I do feel that the questions are very lengthy, so you definitely have to prepare yourself for reading them thoroughly, and then also the strategy as far as choosing the best answer, not just any answer. I don't know my command prompts very well. I have them, I just printed out kind of detailed based on category. Common command prompts that I got offline, so I plan to study those. I have done a few labs, but as I'm doing them, I'm kind of just doing what they tell me to do, not really understanding what the whole process is. So I know exactly what I need to do. So my game plan for tackling it, rest of the day, because again, this week is booked off to be all about studying for this exam and getting the score up. I have to make at least 90% on the test 3 times consecutively before I can take take the actual test. That's according to my school that I'm a part of and my standards as well. So now that I kind of know what topics I'm struggling with, I plan to go back to the book and do notes on them, do videos on YouTube. I'm using a website called, or a video group called Networking, and capital KING. And this guy kind of has like a 30 some day course on the CCNA. So him, in addition to what I learned this past week, I'm trying to put pieces together. And then I also have to practice my command prompts. So that's kind of my game plan for the rest of this afternoon, is to focus in on at least one topic that I'm very weak in. I know one is firewalls. Another one is kind of really understanding what the command line is telling you when you do like the show CDP, and kind of understanding what the numbers and the letters mean. I don't really understand. So I know kind of at least a game plan as far as where I want to start. Tomorrow, I'll probably take another practice one to see if I am better in that area or in that topic. And then if I'm not at a certain percentage for that topic, then I'll kind of go back to it. So it's a little bit discouraging again to see a 34.55% for my first test, but at the same after I took the actual class, but at the same time, I'm giving myself a time frame that right now it's in July, towards the end of July, and I want to get the certification by September, like Labor Day kind of time frame. So I'm starting a full-time job next week in IT. So luckily, at least I'm in field, but not in networking or not in that department. So it's going to be a process. Like I'm going to have to come home and do all of my duties here at the house, but also focus in on doing what I need to do for studying purposes. So it may not be, you know, maybe some sleepless nights, somewhat, but I'm focused on a goal here. And so when I'm focused and tuned in to my goal, nothing is going to get in the way. I've started to make flashcards on all these acronyms and all this stuff that I have no idea what they're talking about. All these things, like all these cards here, are concepts that I was very new to. So every time I saw a word that I didn't understand or an acronym that I didn't understand, I wrote it down. And then I went back, and I'm going back, on a daily basis to fill in what the definition is and how they connect into whatever topic I'm working on. So, again, I kind of want to encourage people. It's a huge task, and apply this to anything and everything that you're dealing with. If you have a huge task before you, what you do is you break it into chunks and identify kind of where you are right now in the process and start to develop your roadmap to where you need to be. So identifying where your weaknesses are, where your gaps are, and then go from there. So that's kind of encouraging for today, and that's kind of at least day one as far as my journey. And I'll keep you updated on the certification process. It's going to happen. I'm focused. I'm determined. Let's do it. Bye, guys.